Hello everyone, this is Sudhakar. I am working as a assistant professor, Department of Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning from St. Martin's Engineering College. Today I am going to discuss the topic about the OOPS concept. Okay, OOPS concept. OOPS is an object-oriented programming system, which is most important topic in the every programming languages. For example, we have a Java, C++, and Python, and etc. These are the most important concept in the every programming language. We're going to discuss these topics in this OOPS concept. We have a object, class, data abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, data binding, and message passing. These are the most important things, features in the OOPS concept. So mainly we have to discuss from starting object and class. These are the main important things. After that, we will discuss about this data abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and remaining things. Okay, class. First, we start with the class. Class is it is a combination of properties and methods. Okay, for example, we can take as an example of student is a class. Then student details are there: student name, student roll number, student ID, and etc. These are the properties coming under the properties. And coming to the methods, read, write, these are the methods. Okay, this is about the class. Class is there binding the methods and properties. And coming to the object, object is used to call the class. We can say object is an instance of a class. Okay, we can go for the detail. Okay, object oriented program is a modern programming method to design programming using the class and objects. Without class and object, we cannot create that programming languages. Okay, class is a blueprint or prototype from which objects are created. For creating objects within the class only, we cannot create the objects, properties and methods outside of the class. We have to create the any properties in the class only. Okay, coming to the object, object is a real world entity that has entire own properties and behavior such as book, chair, pen, table, and etc. For example, we can see table and pen and TV and board. These all are the objects. Okay, we can say easily call it as a real time objects. For example, you see this in picture. Book is an one object, real time object. Chair, car, and pen. These are the various objects having various behaviors. So, for example, coming to the car is an taking as a object. Then we have a properties of for that class: color, size, prototype, and model. These are the properties of the car. Okay, and behavior, various behaviors are there: start, stop, forward, backward. Start means various cars starts with a various type of this. Some cars are starting with key, some cars are start with a button, some cars are start from through mobile or any other electronic devices. So various behaviors are there, various for various classes. Stop is also same thing. Various stopping technologies are there. Okay, forward, backward. Forward means go to the driving. Some cars are there. Some cars are first gear, start with the gears 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 5 or 6 based upon that car. Some cars are there, they have a no gears, only D and R. D means drive. When put in the D mode, that will be start, though that is the forward. That is on behavior. Backward means get just gear rod to the R mode, then it will goes back to the reverse. So this is about the various behaviors of there. Okay, each object having own behavior. For example, books are number of books are there. One books is folding, one books is not folding. So that's type. Chairs also there. Chairs are foldable chairs and non-foldable chairs. Same car, we discussed about the car. Pen also there. Pen is the cap with cap or without cap. These are various types of objects in the real time and various properties also there. The major objective is to eliminate unfavorable features encoded in procedural approaches. It is the most advanced to the procedural languages. We later on we discuss about the procedural languages also. First thing is we discuss class and object. Okay, class is then combination of methods and properties, and object is used to call the class. Okay, each class is having the own object. Okay, then next we have a two things. Earlier we discussed about procedural. So we have two languages are there. Comparison is there, procedural and object oriented programming. So earlier we using the procedural languages, and later on now it is updated. So that's why we using the object oriented programming. So we discuss about the one by one. Okay. First, we starts with the procedural languages. Procedural languages, it is known as a POP. POP means procedural oriented programming. Then it is a top-down approach. Top-down approach. For example, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Program is in a 5 lines of code is there. So that procedural language is execution starts from the top-down approach. Top-down means first execute the first line, then after that second line, then after that third line. After the third line, go to the fourth line and fifth line. This is the order to execute the one by one, one by one, one by one. This is the procedural language. Okay, top-down approach. Top-down approach is followed, and it deals with the algorithm. Based on the algorithm, it works it. Okay, procedural language completely depend upon the algorithm. What the algorithm is right the developer, so that will follows the program. So the procedural language don't know how to execute, how to run. So it completely follows the algorithm only. Okay, algorithm. Next, it deals with the functions. Procedural language divided into the functions. Various functions are there. Function is symbol is the function. This is the one function, and function 2. These are the various functions like 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. N number of functions also there. So it is write the code between the functions. This is the function. This is the like a function syntax. So we have to write the code within this function only. Okay, one function can call to the another function, and another function call to the one more function. So this is about that functions. Okay, procedural language completely following the algorithms, and it depends upon the functions only. Okay, it is using very less memory. Procedural language is not secured, so that is not any extra code is not there. So that's why it takes the less memory. For example, we have a code A, B, C. It stores the procedural language only stores the these things only. Coming to the object oriented, I will explain it. But this is the only less memory to do in procedural language. Okay, it is a less memory. It does not have an access modifiers. This is an important update in the object oriented programming. Okay, access modifiers is I will discuss on object oriented programming. When we discuss about the object oriented programming, I will clearly explain about the access modifiers. Okay, then data can be freely from one function to another function in the system. Earlier I discussed about the functions. Okay, function 1, it is a lines of code is there, and here function 2, so this is a function 1 and this is a function 2. You can move in another system also. Another system, this is one system 1. Okay, this is system 2. Okay, system 2 also another functions. For example, function 3. Here function 4. Okay, here what is telling is move freely from one function to another function in the systems. we have the data in the function. This data can use it into the another function in the another system. Okay, maybe this function 1 properties can use it in the function 3, and also function 1 properties deals in use it in the function 4 also. After that, function 4 can also use it in the function 2 also. So this is about that freely move the one function to another function data. Okay. Okay, we have to pending in access modifiers, right? Okay, it is a less secure. Earlier I discussed about the less secure. For example, if the program, if for example main method is there, A, B, C, this program as it is program stored in the compiler. So this is not secureable. Anyone can access this. Anyone can access this program and used and also modified. Okay, this is also easily modified by another one. Okay, so this was the it is less secure. For example, the procedural language used C, Fortran, and etc. These are the features in the procedural language. Once again, I will clearly explain about this things. Procedural language is having it is known as an POP, means procedural oriented programming, and it is follows the top down approach. One top down approach, from starting words it is executed 1 2 3 4, from top to bottom it is executed. Then it deals with the algorithm. What the developer write the code, that is that it follows blindly. It follows that algorithm only. Okay, this is about the deals with the algorithm, and it deals with the functions. The program divided into the number of functions. Earlier I discussed about function 1 and function 2 things, and it is occupying the less memory. It is a very drawback for security purpose, and does not have the access modifier. Access modifiers is not there. So, and data freely move from one function to another function in the another systems also. It is less secure. Okay. The example of the procedure language is C language and Fortran and etc. Okay. Coming to the object oriented programming, it is a more advanced version to the procedural language. Okay. It has known as an OOPS. OOPS is an object oriented programming. So it is name it says object oriented. So it compulsory we have to use the object in the program. So this is the known as the object oriented. It is a bottom up approach. We are discussing in the procedural language. We have a 1 2 3 4 5 lines are there. Program code, 5 lines of code is there. Coming to the procedural language, it is a top down approach, and coming to the object oriented program, it is an bottom to up process. So the execution in the procedural language, the execution starts from bottom to top. The main method is here. So yes, bottom to top approach. First execute the in the object oriented program, first execute the 5th line, and this is the after that it execute the 4th line, after that it execute the 5th 3rd, and after that it execute the 2, after finally execute the 1. It shows that it is called as then bottom up approach. Okay, bottom up approached by object oriented programming. Okay, then it is known as the object oriented program or bottom up approach program. It deals with the data. Okay, it deals procedural language deals with only algorithm, but it deals with the data. Procedural data, what the developer is write the code blindly, it follows the algorithm. But coming to the procedural language, the object oriented programming language deals with the data. Okay, what the data you write in the code, based on that code it will execute that. Okay, based on the code. Coming to the procedural, it is executed through the algorithm. It is deals with the data only. This is the major differences in the procedural and object oriented program. Okay, coming to the object oriented program, it divided into the objects. This is the main thing. Object oriented program means oriented, object oriented. Okay. Earlier I said object oriented. Based on the object, the entire program will work. So object oriented is it divided into the objects. Each object is calling the each class. Okay. For example, we have a class A, it's some code, and class B. So we have a number of classes are there. So number of classes are there. Each class is having must and one object. Okay, this is then object for class A. Object A means object A means object for the class A, and this is object B means it is object for the B. We can use this object, we can call the class. Without object we cannot call that class. Okay, each class is must having object, so that's why we can say it is divided into the objects. Okay, this is the main thing in objects. Object oriented program is depends on the objects only. It's divided into the objects. The objects are used to call the class. Okay, using these objects we can call that class A objects also and class C objects also. Sorry, C properties also. C properties and class A properties also we can use. How we can use, we will discuss that later. Okay, then it deals with the more memory that the procedural oriented programming. So why it takes the large memory means, for example, we have a code. For example, class A is having data 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the data in the class A. Okay, it's a procedural language, means POP, procedural oriented programming. It stores this class only. This what is the data 1, 2, 3, 4 only saves this data only. Coming to the object oriented programming, a class is having stored with the encrypted data. For example, class A is having data 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, but it stores the not like that, but this flow is like this. For example, 1A, 2BC, and 3CAD, 431. Like this data will stored in the object oriented programming. Okay, object oriented programming saves this one, so that's why the memory is very, it take the more memory compared to the procedural languages. Okay, it is an access modifiers. Procedural language is main advantage is advantage to the object oriented programming is access modifiers is there in the object oriented program. We have some object access modifiers are there. We discuss here access modifiers. Okay, procedural languages does not contain the access modifier, but object oriented programming contain the access modifiers. Okay, access modifiers is we have a public, private, protected. So we see public, private, protected. We see this public, private, protected used in the object oriented programming. Okay, public means we have to write the class. For example, public class A. This is the one public class. This is we can call it as an access modifier. Okay, this, for example, we write the public before the class. We can use this data or properties, whatever it may be, methods, that all are used in the entire program. Okay, no need to add anything to the separately to the class A properties. So we can write the public that it can be publicly available these properties in the class A. For example, we write the private. Okay, private class A if we write the private access, we use the private access modifier in class A. So these methods are not useful for used in the another class. Okay, we have to extend this class, but public we can easily use these properties, but coming to the private class we have to extend that class only. So here public class we don't need to extend, directly we can use it, but private we have to extend that one. Okay, and coming to the protected class, protected class A. For example, this is a protected access modifier. Here we are using protected class A. Okay, protected class A means these properties are not used in the another class. Okay, what is the extended class we use, but other classes we cannot use this protected class, protected properties. Okay, within the class we only use it with the extension of the class A. Okay, this is about the access modifiers. We have it mainly three types are there. These are the access modifiers. Okay, for object oriented programming languages are C++, Java, C#. These are the main difference versus difference between procedure and object oriented. Okay, we will go for the next. OOPS simplifies the software development and maintenance by the providing some concepts. Okay, we have a class, object, class, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, encapsulation. These are the main things. So we will discuss one by one. Okay, first we discuss about the class. Class is a blueprint or prototype from the which objects are created. Collection of objects. Class is a collection of objects. So each class is having one object is there. Okay, it is a logical entity, not the physical entity. Object is a physical entity. For example, we discussed earlier table, a chair, pen. These are the physical entities, and class is a logical entity. It completely combining the both properties and methods. Okay, the class is in a group of similar entities. For example, if the class is a expensive car, then objects are like the Mercedes, BMW, Toyota. Okay, these are the examples of the class. Okay, for example, we have a student. Student is a name, grade as the properties, and get name, print grade is the methods of that class. Okay, next we discuss the object. Object and a instance of a class is known as an object. Okay, using the object we can call the class. Okay, objects are the basic runtime entities in an object oriented system. Real world entity that has the state and behavior. Earlier I explained about that physical entities are there, one book, chair and car, pen, and whatever it may be. The for example, we take then object is a student, then object data is an data of that object is name, roll number, marks of the student. Okay, functions are there. Functions means are like a methods. Or methods means total, averages. These are the various methods are there in the object. Okay, this class and objects are completed. Class and objects are the two main aspects of the object oriented programming. So a class is a template for the object, and an object is an instance of a class. When the individual objects are created, they inherit all the variables and methods from the class. Okay, this is the class. Fruit is a class. Objects are apple, mango, orange. Okay, this is an example of class and object. Data abstraction. Data abstraction is the main feature in the object oriented program. It is a completely secure purpose. So for example, we have a phone call. We don't know how the internal processing is there. Just for example, we take the one phone and dial the number, call to the some other person. For example, A call to the B, but A don't know and B also don't know the what is the process in between. But the process is when the call to the A call to the B, that A number goes to the BTS, and after that it goes to the signal to the MTS. Okay, main station. After that it goes to the BTS of the B caller, and after B caller base station, after that it go to the call to the B. Okay, this is the between the process. So this process we don't know. Caller A no, caller A also don't know, caller B also don't know. This is no need. So this is the abstraction, data abstraction. This is the mere. In Java we use the abstract class and interface to achieve the abstraction. Okay, the abstract and interfaces are both are the same, but the abstract class is, we have to, in the abstract class we have a only initialization but not the implementation. In abstraction class, implementation is also there and initialization also there. Some methods are initialized but not implemented, some methods are implemented also. These are in the abstract class only. Coming to the interface, but interface is having only initialized methods are there, no implementation is allowed in the interfaces. For this reason we have to extend this interface class into another interface class. Then we will extend this, we will implement that initialized methods. Encapsulation means is combining. For example, we can see the tablets are combining. For example, in school a student cannot exist without a class. Without student we cannot taking the class, right? So this is then encapsulation. Clearly we can say class is then a best example of the encapsulation, because class is having methods and properties, both are encapsulated within the one place. Okay, this is we can call it as an encapsulation. Okay, inheritance we have a main things in the inheritance. Okay, just we can see in the diagrammatically. Inheritance is the most important thing and code reusability is there. We have a three to four types of inheritance are there. One is a single level inheritance. Single level inheritance, we have a, this is then a class A and this is the class B. Okay, this is the single level inheritance. Class A object used in the class B. Class B extends the class A, then class B having class B properties as well as class A properties. Coming to the multi-level inheritance is class A and class B and class C. So class A properties extended in class B. So all properties class B and class A properties in class B. Then after that class B properties used in the class C. So this object class A represents the class C properties as well as class B properties as well as class A properties also. But class B is having class A and class B properties only. So this is then single level inheritance. This is a multi-level. So we are go see the multiple inheritance. Okay, multiple inheritance means we have a class A and class B and class C. For example, we take three classes. Class C extends the class A properties as well as class B properties also. This is then multi-level. Okay, this is a multi-level, this is a multiple, this is the multiple inheritance, this is a single level inheritance. This is the complete the inheritance properties. This we no need to write once we write here, we no need to write here. We can just use it the class A object only. Okay, this is about the single level, multiple inheritance and multi-level inheritance and multiple inheritance. Okay, this is about the multi inheritance. Okay, okay, we will see that video. This is the object oriented programming concept. Programming based on the concepts of objects, which is the complex. No, it is not complex. No, it is a not complex issue. Okay, we have an objects, those are the real world entities are there. So where real world entities, cars, class, for example, take the cars is a class is a cars. Cars, we have a different cars are there. If you take the mission, we have a different missions are there. Phone or anything is the mission under the missions. Okay. The real life problem is program to store the data and all the personal and presentation in the India. Okay. The real world entities of the class and object scenes. For example, we take the name of Ben, age is 21, gender is male. And coming to the another object, name is MN, age 18, gender female. Okay. This is the properties of name, age. This is the properties of name, age, and gender. Functions, coming to the functions, eating, how he eating, how he is sleeping, how he is walking. This is about that functions are there. Okay, we can call it as also methods. Okay. Yeah, this is about the all inheritance and polymorphism means one object can execute the many operations. Okay, this is about the polymorphism. Okay, dynamic binding is it is used to execute the runtime binding. Data will bind after completion of the compiling. Coming to the message passing is the for example, we have to pass the name of that employee. We can pass that employee salary within the bracket. We can pass the name, that is the employee name. This is the message passing technique. It is also one of the best feature in the object oriented programming. So this is about that message passing and dynamic processing and all these things. Okay, object, class, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction, dynamic message, and all processing. This is about all the object oriented programming concept. Okay, thank you.